That's a good side. That's why you over there.
Yeah, well, you know, that's where they said I need to go. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Oh, now you're about to start.
You just make it, okay. You just kind of making sure you got your seat. Got you. All right.
Welcome to the Coaches Show, the show where we talk all things basketball. From the beautiful campus of North Carolina A&T University, it's the Coaches Show. And now, here's your host.
On Friday against Hampton should be a big-time basketball game, CAA basketball game. Very much looking forward to this game. You can check out myself and Arlene Mitchell. We're coming on at 7 o'clock. If you can't make it out to Corbett Sports Center, then you can watch the game, of course, on Flow Sports. Well, as we take a look at the Lady Aggies, and of course, let me sort of set the table for you today here on the Coaches Show. We're, of course, going to be joined by the head women's basketball coach of the Lady Aggies, Tarrell Robinson. Also, forward guard Paris Locke going to join us here on the program, and assistant coach Kelly Mathis also going to join us today here on the Coaches Show. So let's kind of take a look, recap this season. So when you look at North Carolina A&T, you look at the Lady Aggies, right now, sole possession of first place in the CAA, 7-1 on the season. And when you think about it, the Lady Aggies have won 9 of their last 10 ball games. Kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start, 0-4, but since that time, 11-4. And you're looking at some really tough games. So let's look at some of these games in terms of the Lady Aggies starting off this season. At SMU, at Rice. I mean, those are definitely tough games. Then you come back home and you're playing against North Carolina, right? Then you have to go back on the road and play against Mercer. And not only that, you're looking at at that time, a Lady Aggie team that had, had some injuries at that point. So you rebound from that, get a nice win against Winston-Salem State, get a really nice win against the rival North Carolina Central, and then you kind of go from there. And again, winners of 9 wins, in the last 10 games. So we're talking about a Lady Aggie team that is really, really doing well. The last game, all right, we go back to Sunday, a victory over Hofstra on the road. Okay, and A&T 63-44, really getting some big-time play from Shania Clark. She's had back-to-back games where she's had a double-double, 19 points and 15 rebounds in the victory over Hofstra. But you're getting all kinds of contributions from this Lady Aggie basketball team. Jordan Dorsey, definitely one of the best players in the CAA, an all-CAA player. You look at the play of Paris Locke, the sophomore who's going to join us a little bit later on in the program. We're going to talk with her. So if you really look at what A&T has been able to do, and then let's also look at this, 6-2 at home. So when you play in Club Corbett, it's a very tough environment, a great environment to play in. And of course, for North Carolina A&T, the Lady Aggies are going to host Hampton at Club Corbett on Friday. I thought, and I'll just say this, okay, you have your first 2 games on the road at SMU and at Rice. And then North Carolina comes into the house. And again, you're talking about a Lady Aggie program, 3 games into the season, having to play a nationally ranked team, having to play a team where you're not at full strength. And I thought for A&T to be able to come out to fight in that ball game, really throughout the majority of that ball game, I thought was really admirable. And of course, Lady Aggies didn't win that game. But again, I think they played well. It led to the next game against Mercer. Winston-Salem comes in, and then North Carolina Central. And you got to think about that. If you look at the schedule in terms of, okay, at SMU, at Rice, at Mercer. 3 of your first 4 games are on the road, then having to go play Norfolk State at home, then having to go to Florida Gulf Coast, having to go to IU Indy, or having to play IU Indy in a tournament. I mean, that's just a tough ask. But Lady Aggies are healthy right now, and so I think we're going to talk, obviously, with Tarrell Robinson, really get his thoughts on this program, and even more today on this program, even though we want to talk with Coach Robinson about the program. We want to talk with Coach Robinson about him a little bit. He's probably a little bit uncomfortable with that, but I think we need to get to know Coach Robinson a little bit more. You're going to get to know Kelly Mathis, one of his assistants, a little bit more. You're going to get to know Paris Locke a little bit more today, of course, sophomore from Baltimore, and I thought, you're just kind of watching her game really progress from a freshman last year, having a major impact on this program, and now being the second leading scorer on this team at 10.9 points per game. So all of that still on the way here on the Coaches Show. Really excited about this and really excited to be here, excited to talk Lady Aggie basketball, especially the program right now, 11-8 on this season, 7-1 in CAA play, 6-2 again, as I mentioned, at home, and going to be hosting Hampton on Friday. So let's do this. We're going to step aside. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the head women's basketball coach of the Lady Aggies, Tarrell Robinson. Keep it locked.
Stay tuned. The Coaches Show will be back after these messages.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
6,000 universities. Watching North Carolina A&T. We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other university system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T. Always doing, never done.
Good morning, America. Today, thousands of our teammates will make and deliver over 300 of the world's best brands and flavors, locally, in towns large and small. From the heartland to the coast, our products are moving and our trucks are rolling. We share a passion and a purpose. We love to refresh and serve our communities. We are Coca-Cola Consolidated, your local bottler.
Vice President Kamala Harris is bringing the Fight for Our Freedoms college tour to North Carolina A&T State University today.
Why A&T specifically?
The history and legacy of a people is 400 years of oppression.
We have always been able to adjust and adapt to whatever is thrown at us. And I think that just speaks to the resilience of our community.
You did it, Aggies!
Welcome back to the show.
In his 13th season as the head women's basketball coach of North Carolina A&T is Tarrell Robinson. He's the all-time winningest coach in North Carolina A&T Lady Aggie history. He joins us here on the program. What's going on, Coach Robinson?
Nothing much, Donal. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I just want to, we're going to talk about the game against Hofstra. We're going to talk about the upcoming game against Hampton.
Yep.
You've won 9 of your last 10 ball games.
Yep.
Just sort of speak to how the team is playing to this point.
We're playing well. You know, we had one hiccup on Friday. I thought this group has been resilient based on how we started non-conference, the injuries, the continuity issues, the chemistry issues that we had, and you know, we had a really good Christmas break. Obviously, Santa must have been good to our young women because they came back locked in and ready to win the CAA. You know, everybody's focused on the same goal, and you know, we're in a good space right now.
What is there a moment either a moment or a game that you can point to where you said this is sort of a turning point? Because you got off to the slow start. Now you've won 9 of your last 10, including on the way an 8-game winning streak. Any moment, any game you can point to?
Absolutely. Our Christmas tournament against IUPUI, we just dealt with some adversity against a really good Florida Gulf Coast, which is one of the best mid-majors in the country. Didn't play well. I thought my group quit at some point in that game, and we end up really, getting beat bad. And I talked to them about it in the locker room. I was on it in breakfast. I was on it in shoot around. Obviously, we had a quick turnaround, but I didn't really care about the results of the game. I wanted to make sure that they understood that that is unacceptable. And we have great leaders. Jordan Dorsey, Malia Bacone, Shania Clark have been great as far as our leaders, and they responded. And we put together what I thought was a really good fourth quarter, where we had consecutive opportunities of execution and getting the shots we wanted, being down and coming out with the victory. And obviously, like I said, going on the break, feeling good about ourselves, coming back excited about practice and seeing each other and just using that energy to transition into CAA play.
Let me take you back a little bit to the Norfolk State game. It was a loss, but I think the importance of that game, you're talking about perhaps the 2 best women's HBCU teams in the country, right? And this is a game that we've wanted for quite some time. We were finally able to make it happen. You didn't, the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but at the same time, who knows if you had been 100% healthy in that basketball game. Couple of thoughts. Will we, A, see that game continue on? And B, can you just speak to the significance of that as perhaps the 2 best HBCUs in the country in women's basketball?
Coach Vickers isn't going to come here without us having to come there, so we'll go there next year. I got a tremendous amount of respect for Larry Vickers, just what he's going through and the transformation of that program, and obviously being a minority male, coaching women's basketball. He gets all the praise as far as where that program is. Obviously, you combine really good, talented kids with a really talented coach, you get the results that you want. I think our young ladies will say right now, we're not the same team now that we were then. We were still trying to get into our groove, and Norfolk was obviously in their groove, coming off winning the MEAC and really performing well for their university in the NCAA tournament. We're still, with 4 transfers, 4 freshmen, still trying to create that buy-in, that understanding of what Lady Aggie basketball is. And right now, we're there. We just finished practice 30 minutes ago, and I talked to them about being in the position that we're in. It shouldn't be a hard ask to communicate on D, to play D, to execute offensively. All we want to do is make sure we're doing all the things necessary to get wins. But, back to your question about Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T State University, I think it's important to us to continue playing HBCUs. That's why we still play North Carolina Central. That's why we play Winston-Salem, and just want to continue that because the tradition is important, the culture is important. These young women came for that. Even though we're in the CAA, we want to make sure that we still hold true to who we are.
You mentioned having 4 newcomers. One of the newcomers I want to talk about is Asia James and what kind of impact. I see you got the smile on your face, right? Look, there was a lot of, I think the importance of that women's or that WNIT last year was absolutely major, where you made it all the way to the 3rd round of that, right? And so you're able to get some players to come in. One of those players is Asia James. Speak to how she's played. She's your 4th leading scorer.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of history. Asia used to come to our elite camps. She was a young lady that I think wanted to be an Aggie at that time. We weren't in position to offer her. She's been a factor in every program that she's played in. I was, just to give you a little background about why she's here, every coach is now in the portal. So it's about 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm in the portal, knowing that we need someone that can knock down threes. We need a shooter. And just coincidentally, I just went to grads, to see if there was anyone there with 1 year that we could use, and I saw her name. And in the portal, it has email address, contact, all that stuff. And so I emailed Asia, and I think she probably responded back at 8 a.m. to set up a visit the same day.
Oh, wow.
To commit the same day.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
her mom drove down, you know, just very appreciative of them of making the effort to connect the dots. And as far as her importance, you know, to our program, like she's shooting 43% from the three. That is something that was needed. Someone that can legitimately space the floor and make sure that you can't double Shania Clark. You can't sit in and guard Jordan Dorsey, you know, Malia Bracone, Paris Locke, that you have to play us honest. And she's been successful so far, and just want to continue to encourage our group to look for her. You know, one thing she could do really well is shoot. The other thing she do okay, and I challenge her with those other things. But we want to make sure when she's on the court that we expose the things that she does well.
No doubt about it. Real quick, I thought, you know, the Drexel win and the Stony Brook win, those were like, you're talking about back-to-back games, CAA games. You're talking about the last two, you know, tournament champ, regular season champ. Speak to how important those two wins in particular were.
Well, from a noun standpoint, we only played them once. So I talked to our young women about, like, these one games, like, you beat them, now they're doing work for you, for seeding rights. You know, if you're tied with them or you're tied with somebody and they beat them, you know. Both programs very respected. Obviously, you know, Drexel represented our conference in the NCAAs. Stony Brook, you know, won the league. It's easy to motivate and get our young women ready, you know, for those games. Asia played phenomenal in the fourth quarter of the Delaware game. I mean, the Drexel game, and it was needed. It was needed for her to knock down shots to give us that boost of that energy, and get the victory for us. And you know, we offensively played our best brand of basketball against Stony Brook. 50% from the field, 50% from the three, 70% from the foul line. And I told our young women, I wish I could bottle that up, because I think offense has been more so our issue this year than defense. We've always been able to defend and guard anybody. Offensively, being able to get these talented young women to play together and to make the right reads at the right time has been a struggle, but we're still working, and the buy-in is there. It's just, you know, we just got to stay consistent.
Keep it locked to the Coaches Show with the head women's basketball coach of North Carolina A&T, Tarrell Robinson. We've got more after this.
Stay tuned. The Coaches Show will be back after these messages.
The Aggie Athletic Foundation is the official fundraising arm for North Carolina A&T Athletics. By making an investment in athletics, you're providing resources that leverage our ability to recruit highly motivated student athletes who train and compete at the highest level of Division I athletics. For more information about this campaign and the AAF, please call 336-285-3063 or visit our website at aggieboosters.com. Fans, be sure to visit longtime North Carolina A&T sponsor Smitty's McDonald's. 3 locations in Greensboro, including Summit Avenue, right near campus. Stop by or use your favorite delivery app today.
I have seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing, and who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence, and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Welcome back to the show.
Tarrell Robinson, the head women's basketball coach of the Aggies, the all-time winningest coach in Lady Aggie history, joining us, of course, here on the Coaches Show. Still to come, forward guard Paris Locke and assistant coach Kelly Mathis, all still to come here on the program. So, Coach Robinson, let's talk a little bit about the victory on the road and your last outing on Sunday against Hofstra.
Well, you know, it's another sign of a team that could win a championship. We just faced some adversity, 8-game win streak, 6-0 in league play, and could not buy a basket against a well-coached Monmouth team that was ready for us. You know, they did more. It was more them than us as far as the victory. We just talked about we scored 79 points against Stony Brook, and then we go up there and we only can score 49. So again, you know, like with a Friday, Saturday to prepare, Sunday game, you know, the approach is with them is, hey, we didn't play well. Let's recognize that we didn't play well and fix it and move forward. And that's what I talked about after the game, and that's what we did on Saturday. Saturday was a very focused practice with energy. Paris Locke and Jordan Dorsey both had pretty bad ankle sprains, and as everybody know, they played on Sunday. So, you know, those types of things are what a coach looks for as far as the sacrifice and going in and playing a very good Hofstra team, who I think was third in the CAA, has beat Drexel, which says a lot when anybody gets a win against Drexel. They got really great guard play, shooting, probably one of the best all-around teams that Coach Santos has put together. A lot of depth, and we had to go in there and fight tooth and nail to get the victory. And it came down to our defense and not settling, attacking the basket, and you know, and Shania Clark showed up and played pretty well for us too.
She did 19 and 15 in this game. Again, second straight game where she's had a double-double. Speaking of, okay, so we talked about A&T, Norfolk State, one of those teams that was in the mix when you talk about the best teams at one time was Hampton. Hampton, the next opponent. David Six, no longer the coach, a fixture at Hampton for so many years, so many championships. Y'all did a lot of battling, right, when A&T and Hampton were in the MEAC. Your thoughts on this iteration of the Hampton Pirates?
I think they're a very deep and talented team. I think their guard play is really good. I think they are very well coached and have a coach who is coached on all levels, and Coach Tamisha. You know, I just tell our young women, let's not get caught sleeping. Like, yeah, we beat them at their place, but it's the second time around. We've obviously lost a game. They've won some games. So, I mean, they know we're beatable. And we, you know, got to be prepared, got to not take anything for granted, possessions, periods, halves, all that, and just be ready to go to war.
You know, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get to know Coach Robinson a little. I know he doesn't like this, but look, we need to get to know him a little bit, right? Like, you know what I ask a lot of, when we do these shows, I ask a lot of the student athletes. The question I always ask is, what led you to come to North Carolina A&T? You're an alum, right? And then you were an assistant coach, left, came back, 13th season as the head coach out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Right? What led you to come to North Carolina?
As a student athlete?
As a student athlete, correct.
That is not a good story.
Oh.
But I'll share it. There was a girl I was dating that was at A&T. I had just did prep school at Bonner Academy. A&T was one of the few schools, I'm not sure if everybody knows, that I was not academically qualified coming out of high school, so I had to go to prep school, had to get my SAT scores. It took me a while. I think I got my scores probably the last test, which I found out in June, but there were two schools, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and North Carolina A&T State University, still talking to me and checking me out. When I got my scores, guess who I called? UNCG, right?
Not a good story. Yeah, you said that.
They didn't pick up the phone, but guess who did pick up the phone? You know what I'm saying? North Carolina A&T State University. Yeah. So ended up coming to A&T, playing for Coach Roy Thomas for 2 years, and then Curtis Hunter. And Curtis Hunter, you know, got me started in coaching. I talked about, you know, the things that I did as a student athlete. I host recruits. You know, I host families. I was always the one to speak to the alum. When we went to D.C., we went anywhere, and they fed us and took care of us. I was the thank you player, and he saw in me at that time that I could be a coach, and he offered me that opportunity versus going and trying to play basketball. He thought I could be pretty good in this career, which until now I didn't see it. You know, I just saw it as an opportunity to still be around this fantastic university, to still chase girls, and whatever the case may be. And see, that's gonna get me in trouble with my wife.
I didn't want it, but yes, I didn't want to say that.
But I just saw it as an opportunity to continue to be here, and I took advantage of it and really grew, matured. With the birth of my son, just really honed into this profession because I was advancing, and that's pretty much my story, and it's everything that I've gotten. Like, think about it. I came in here at the age of 17. I've only spent 3 years away from here, and that's when I was at the University of Virginia Commonwealth. So this university just means everything to me. The opportunity, the young women that decide to be a part of it. I just really want to pour out, sometimes too much. Malia Bracone asked me one day in film, why am I so intense? And I told her, well, I want to win, and I don't want to let y'all down. It's just the bottom line, and that's the way I operate. There's no real gray. It's just black and white with me.
Yeah. No, like you mentioned, 3 years at VCU, an assistant coach, I believe starting your career with Coach Cage Bibbs, one of the greatest to ever do
Not
it.
exactly. I started with Saudi Roundtree.
Okay, all right.
Saudi Roundtree brought me over when I was a graduate assistant for Curtis Hunter. She fired a guy at some point during homecoming. I helped her work out her players, so she offered me a job, which paid 3 times what a GA makes. And I did that for a year. And she was let go. Coach Bibbs came in, gave me a great opportunity, and really mentored me, gave me some tough love, taught me the business. We had a lot of success. I used that to catapult to VCU, and then came home.
That's right. So last thought, we got about 60 seconds. I think sometimes because you've won multiple tournament championships, have beaten big schools, beaten ACC schools, you're the all-time winningest coach. I think sometimes we take that here for granted. But as the all-time winningest coach, and having become the all-time winningest coach here at your alma mater, what does that mean to you?
It means that I've done something right. It means that God has truly blessed me. I don't really question the success. I just try to, the people that hear it the most are my players and staff, to try to convince them that there's method to the madness. But for me, like, this is a lifestyle. It's not even a job. I just want anything that I'm a part of for this university to be great, and try to put my best foot forward for that.
All right, give it up for Tarrell Robinson, head women's basketball coach of the Lady Aggies, joining us here in the Coaches Show. He's going to come back a little bit later on in the program, but up next, we're going to talk with sophomore forward guard Paris Locke. Keep it locked.
P, you want him to say guard forward?
Stay tuned. The Coaches Show will be back after these messages.
Fans, be sure to visit longtime North Carolina A&T sponsor Smitty's McDonald's. 3 locations in Greensboro, including Summit Avenue, right near campus. Stop by or use your favorite delivery app today.
Good morning, America. Today, thousands of our teammates will make and deliver over 300 of the world's best brands and flavors, locally, in towns large and small. From the heartland to the coast, our products are moving and our trucks are rolling. Share a passion and a purpose. We love to refresh and serve our communities. We are Coca-Cola Consolidated, your local bottler.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
The Aggie Athletic Foundation is the official fundraising arm for North Carolina A&T Athletics. By making an investment in athletics, you're providing resources that leverage our ability to recruit highly motivated student athletes who train and compete at the highest level of Division I athletics. For more information about this campaign and the AAF, please call 336-285-3063 or visit our website at aggieboosters.com.
Welcome back to the show.
It is the Coaches Show with the head women's basketball coach of North Carolina A&T, Tarrell Robinson. I'm Donal Ware. Of course, up next, For the Lady Aggies, Hampton comes to Club Corbett on Friday, and we hope to see you out at Club Corbett. If you're not able to make it out, you can, of course, catch the broadcast on Flow Sports. So we're switching gears. Again, Coach Robinson's going to be back with us a little bit later on, but we're going to switch gears and say hello to Paris Locke, the sophomore from Baltimore, guard forward, forward guard. You know, she does it all on the court as she joins us here on the Coaches Show. What's going on, Paris?
What's going on? What's going on?
I'm doing good. 10 points, 7 rebounds in the victory over Hofstra. Just kind of your thoughts on the way that the team played.
I think we definitely played a lot better in the second half. The first half we were a little shaky, but we found our true selves in the second half, and we, was beating them to the 50-50 balls, like extra effort plays was really what made us go into the game.
For you, I used to say this jokingly last year. I mean, you would make so many big plays as a freshman. I'm like, she doesn't really know what she's doing. She's making these great plays. You average, I believe it was close to 10 points a game as a freshman, got a lot of playing time. But now, as a sophomore, you're one of the leaders of this team. You're averaging 10.3 points per game. Your play has gone up. Just speak to how you've made the transition from freshman to sophomore year and the fact that you're continuing to play well. Because sometimes it doesn't happen when you have a freshman year, you do well. Sometimes that sophomore year doesn't always happen for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say, like you said, like freshman year, I didn't really know what was going on. I would just go out there, play my best, play aggressive, and just whatever comes to me, comes to me. But this year I have more. I know like what's going on, the plays and everything, and what Coach Rob wants of me, and I just use that and add it on to my freshman year, and it's what I'm doing now.
Speak to the camaraderie of this team, right? Like, you look at the run that the team made last year, finishing in the upper echelon in terms of the CAA and the final standings, making the run in the WNIT, winning 2 games, one of them in dramatic fashion. Can you speak to just the camaraderie? Because a lot of that team is back this year.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely say just not getting too comfortable. I mean, last year we went on a run and we started off pretty well, and we just got entirely too comfortable, and things weren't just going our way. But this year, Coach Rob, he makes a statement almost every practice saying we can't get too comfortable. Like, we got to keep pushing, getting better each game, and just exposing our who we're playing, and just go out and win.
What did you feel like you had to work on in the offseason last year coming into your sophomore season?
I would definitely say my shooting. My shooting percentages wasn't the best last year. Like, they would definitely guard me as a driver, but that's really what I worked on last summer with my training back at home, and that's what I'm still working on now, and just getting more confidence in my shot.
Your best game this year, what do you think that is?
My best game, I'd probably say when we played Winston-Salem. That was my career high. I had 21. That would probably be my best game. I was just feeling it that game.
It's a big win there, too, right? Like a rival, all those kind of good things. For you, in terms of the way you see the court, right? Mm-hmm. Like, compared to last year to this year, you're handling the ball. A lot more responsibility has been placed upon you. Mm-hmm. Just speak to how you feel about that and the confidence that Coach Robinson has in you.
I love it. I mean, I love that Coach Rob has the confidence in me to help my game, and for me to have that type of leadership on the court. And I love that he believes in me in that. And I just have to work on exposing that more, because next year Jordan, Malia, they're all going to be gone, so I'm going to have to step into the leadership role. So I feel like starting it now is definitely going to help me in the future, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. Any thoughts? I don't know how much. I know you all came out of practice just a little while ago. Any thoughts on Hampton and maybe some of the challenges that the Pirates present?
I mean, they're definitely a team that got better than when we played them before. So we got to make sure we're not, going to the game comfortable. We got to, attack on them first and just tell them and show them who's the real number one.
And then being from Baltimore, right? Like, played at McDonough, won a state championship. Baltimore is when you talk about basketball at the high school level, it's really, really big time. Mm-hmm. What led you to come here to A&T?
This is a funny story, actually. So my mom and dad, they both went to Coppin State University in Baltimore City. My dad was the coach at Coppin State, so he knew Coach Rob pretty well. So they had a pretty good connection. And I was doing my recruiting process, and my dad, we were just going through like the list of schools that, you know, recruit me and things. And then A&T came up, and my dad was instantly like, yeah, like he trusts Coach Rob. He loved like what the system Coach Rob has, and it's just like, I guess them two playing against each other, they knew what, I don't know what type of connection they have, but he definitely wanted me to come here. And then I came and visit, and I was like, yeah, this is the spot for me.
You're having a good time here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like A&T. Well, of course you like A&T, but you know what I mean? Like, you're really into it. You really seem like you're having more than just playing basketball. You're having fun. You have a kind of is it all about basketball for you? Do you have some time to do some other things?
Barely. Now since classes started, and it's just basketball and books, like they say, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last thought, what are you majoring in, and what do you hope to do with that?
I'm majoring in social work. I'm hoping to, you know, be in the like elementary school work of that, and working with kids and just things like that.
Absolutely. Give it up for Paris Locke, sophomore from Baltimore, joining us here on the Coaches Show. We appreciate the time, Paris.
Thank you.
Wow, what a pleasure to talk to that young lady. The future's bright. She's playing some excellent basketball right now. So let's transition. And so we want to bring in one of the assistant coaches for the Lady Aggies, Kelly Mathis, joining us here on the Coaches Show. Coach Mathis, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Absolutely. Just day to day, just kind of take us through day to day in terms of the responsibilities that you have for this Lady Aggie program.
I would say usually get up, depending on if we have morning practice. We practice in the mornings on Tuesday, Thursdays around our student athlete schedules. So we'll be up probably, I would be up around like 4:30, get here. If it's a 6 a.m. practice, I always like to get here an hour ahead. Right now we're practicing 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., so I'm here at 6.
Wow.
But just making sure if I have the scout that day, I want to make sure that I'm up, I'm prepared, I'm reviewing film, I'm just going over any type of details, maybe shoot Coach Rob a text like, hey, just something I was watching last night, or would you like me to go over this going into practice, just making sure, because it's our job to prepare, and we have a very short window, and we also have to make sure that we articulate the main points, because there's a lot that we know, but you have to articulate it to our student athletes in a very simplistic way. And then, throughout the day, even though we have morning practice, we'll continue to work in the office. It might be recruiting that we'll talk about, or things recruiting-wise, responsibilities after practice. Again, a lot more film. It might be continuing to watch, additional games, additional clips. We do have academic responsibilities, academic teams. So I might have meetings with student athletes as well as film breakdown. Coach Robinson and I work with the post players, so they'll set up time for individual film to watch clips. And then on the Tuesday, Thursday, we have 5 p.m. film, and that might be more scout film, that might be just focused on us. And then, a little break for dinner. That's when we get off our feet a little bit, relax on the couch, but then I usually am pulling out my laptop just to make sure before the last thing I go to bed is reviews. So that's a little bit
it's a lot.
Lifestyle.
No, it's interesting. I want to get back to that in terms of you have post responsibilities, because the posts are playing with, like, Shania Clark has been unbelievable in particular. She's been unbelievable, yes. But in particular the last couple of games. Mm-hmm. Speak to me about the preparation. You've got Friday, Sunday, mm-hmm. right? Like this year, I believe you had a back-to-back at the tournament. Like, tell me about that preparation. A little bit tougher.
Well, if I have the Sunday scout, everybody plays on Friday, so that means after our game, I'm going ahead and looking forward to the Sunday. And I've already we have video scout and written scout, so I've already sent that information to Coach Robinson. But then I kind of give him little snippets or just points of emphasis to make sure, hey, this is some of their tendencies, these are things that I've seen, just so he can get an idea. And I'll go back and watch the game, and I tally the plays that they run and how many times they ran it and to what players they're running it to. So then I'll make sure that I get that over to him that night, because Saturday morning, him and I are sitting down and meeting about the scout and talking about how we want to guard certain sets, some different execution, like what we could possibly run against their defense, or some looks, or things that were successful even last year. If it's a familiar team, familiar coaching staff, then we'll kind of talk about that as well. But my job is just to make sure that I'm communicating with Coach Robinson, at an elite level, to where I make life easier for him. And then I go in and just make sure that I prepare the team, because it is a short window. So we really only have a practice and a half if you count, shoot around. So.
No question. So let's go back to the post.
Yeah.
Since you have responsibility for the post players.
Uh-huh.
I mean, look, we know how good of a player Shania Clark is, but she's really kind of starting to come around a lot. 19 and 15 against Hofstra. Asia James, part of your responsibility also in terms of, what she's been able to do. And I know she can also shoot it from outside. But just kind of let me stick with Miss Clark in particular and how she's starting to come along. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Shania is a extremely skilled and probably one of the most skilled post players I've had the chance to work with. I think, her attention to detail and understanding that the little things, the footwork, making reads out of our execution, and knowing the offense extremely well to where she can make those, and she also knows how the defense is going to play her. So just continuing to, talk about those little things, break down some reads that she might be not looking at. The film doesn't lie. So she watches a lot of film with Coach Robinson, and we talk a lot about it as well. So, when it comes to that short turnaround, it's really about the film, being able to study that and study your game. So I think she has continued to come on because of the small details.
No doubt about it. Please give it up for Miss Kelly Mathis, assistant coach for the North Carolina A&T Lady Aggies, joining us here on the Coaches Show. Look, we've got one more segment left. We're going to be rejoined by Tarrell Robinson, the head women's basketball coach. We're going to have a little fun with him, so keep it locked.
Stay tuned. The Coaches Show will be back after these messages.
Using these type of cleansers could be damaging and stripping your skin. I use new Olay cleansing melts every day. Just soak, activate, and wash to clean, tone, and refresh. That's a 3 times better clean. Olay.
6,000 universities. Watching North Carolina A&T. We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other university system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T. Always doing, never done.
Good morning, America. Today, thousands of our teammates will make and deliver over 300 of the world's best brands and flavors, locally, in towns large and small. From the heartland to the coast, our products are moving and our trucks are rolling. We share passion and a purpose. We love to refresh and serve our communities. We're Coca-Cola Consolidated, your local bottler.
Vice President Kamala Harris is bringing the Fight for Our Freedoms college tour to North Carolina A&T State University today.
Why A&T specifically? The history and legacy of a people is 400 years of oppression.
We have always been able to adjust and adapt to whatever is thrown at us. And I think that just speaks to the resilience of our community.
You did it, Aggies!
Welcome back to the show.
Last segment here of the Coaches Show with the head women's basketball coach of North Carolina A&T, Tarrell Robinson, as he rejoins us here on the program. So, I got to say this. I'm a big Commanders fan. Went to Philly, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm never going back to Philadelphia to a game. I'm just telling you that now. However, what is do you have a favorite football team?
Yeah.
Who is it? Please tell me it's not Philly.
No.
Okay. All right.
It's not.
Okay. What's your team?
Cowboys.
Now, as he said the Cowboys. That's what he said, the Dallas Cowboys. He said Cowboys. No, the Dallas Cowboys. And that may be worse. I don't know. Anyway, that may be worse. So who do you have in the Super Bowl? Who do you have and why? I don't know if you get.
Who do I have winning?
Who do you have winning? Because I know you're in season. But anyway, who do you have winning and why? If you can answer the why.
I think Kansas City, just because they keep getting there.
Okay.
And Pat Mahomes is experienced, and I think that carries a lot in those types of moments. So I would say Kansas City if I had to pick a team.
Are you going to watch? Because I know you're intense. Like the preparation, you're always when you're in basketball season and probably out of basketball season, 24/7. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
I doubt it. I doubt it. When is it? Is it on the Sunday? We might be playing.
The following Sunday. Yeah.
Depends on if we win or lose.
If we win, then you may watch.
I might enjoy it if we win. Yeah.
And if not, then
I'll be preparing for our next opponent.
I got you. All right. So when it's out of season, right? How does Tarrell Robinson relax? Does he relax? You're relentless. Does he relax?
Yeah, I relax. Spending more time with my family. Obviously, I got a daughter that plays basketball, investing with her. I don't have to go out. I like watching TV, watching movies, just really giving them back the time that they give up during this time of the year.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Is there what is something that and not that, but you've been around here a long time, right? You've been around A&T long. What is something maybe that we don't know about Tarrell Robinson, about you?
I don't know. I think everybody, I'll say this, and our players know this. People probably think I'm tough and hard, but our players know I'm sensitive. I'll cry in a second if I get to talking to them and just reflecting on where we are and where we've been. I'm very passionate about our program, the people that are in it, and so our players know that.
Man, that's really, really good. So look, we got to get ready to wrap it up. We really appreciate the time. It's been a lot of fun. We look forward to the game on Friday and the victory by the Lady Aggies against Hampton.
Absolutely. and make sure that everybody's there, filling those stands up.
Absolutely. You heard the man. We got to fill Club Corbett up on Friday. It's a 7 p.m. tip against Hampton. We're really looking forward to that basketball game. It's a battle of rivals that go back to the CIAA, MEAC, Big South, and now, of course, the CAA. We want to thank Kelly Mathis, the assistant coach. We want to thank Paris Locke, of course, forward guard for the Lady Aggies, and, of course, Tarrell Robinson, the head women's basketball coach of the Lady Aggies, for joining us today on the program. Again, Friday, we're filling up Club Corbett. Come on out. For ticket information, you can visit ncataggies.com or you can watch on Flow Sports, and we'll talk with you next time.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, like and follow us on Facebook.